Hi and welcome to another 5-minute session, and this time about the texture noise. So I go and press Shift A, texture, and select the noise texture. The noise texture has now replaced the old Musgrave. So in this Blender version we have only noise texture, no Musgrave. So you get 2 in 1. So if you look at the noise texture, it's like a smooth cloudy surface. So it's really good when you want to do these type of things like cloud or soft stuff. But that is only as long as you have Normalize in, because Normalize is securing, so you get a range between 0 and 1. But if you take away that, you can get negative numbers and you can get numbers that are higher than 1. So if you want 0 to 1, use Normalize. Then we have here, first of all, the type. So FBM, it's the standard. So you have this soft thing here. Then you have a little more variation in the next one called multifractal. You can see it's the same pattern, but you have a bigger range between the 0 and 1. So a little more detail into the multifractal. The rich multifractal creates like edges, so you get almost like lines in where you have the lower parts of the noise here. So that is what you can use here. And then you have the hybrid, which is a combination, and the heteroterrain, which if I zoom out almost looks like a type of labyrinth. So those are what you can play with when we're working with this. Different types have different things here. So if I go to the FBM, you can see that we are lacking some parameters which we had in the rich multifractal. So we have here like gain, offset and so on, which we lack in the FBM. So I will just go quickly through everything. We take down the scale a bit here. So I also click Normalize off, because then you can see the contrast better. We have the detail. So low detail, soft edges, high detail, more edge noise. The roughness is a combination here with the detail. So low roughness, you can have high detail, nothing happens. So you need to have roughness as well. If you take up that really much, you almost get like a rust pattern or something like that. So it's good to use in this case. So those two are the most important when you're working with this. Lacunarity, you can say, is like a new layer in another scale above what you already have. So when you increase that, you get smaller and smaller layers that are like in top of each other. Normally you can call it octaves, and you can get that really high, but if you take it too much, you can see you almost get a repetitive pattern. So be careful, not too much, but it's good to play with to get a good, get the pattern as you want. Distortion, it's almost like it pushes the pattern to be circular. So if I increase the distortion, you can see how it makes circles out of the pattern here. So that is what you have in the FBM. If we go to multifractal, it's exactly the same thing, but with rich multifractal, you also have the offset. And offset takes those layers that I was talking about and offset each layer a certain amount as you put here. So that means that you can then separate the layers more and get a more, different type of pattern here. Gain adds a multiplication to the offset or to everything, and then you can see new things appear here when you light up every pattern there are. So now you have all these small veins here and so on. So, but be careful, because you can get really bright here with too much gain. So, but now you know, with the gain you can get different patterns here. And the distortion is exactly the same thing. Everything gets round here. So those are the things that you can play with when it comes to the noise texture. and you can get really everything from Rust to clouds depending on the parameters you put in here. Okay, so that was a little bit about noise, and since 5 minutes now has gone, I will just say bye and see you tomorrow.